The father suddenly discovered that the homeless man on the roadside was actually him, the son I haven't seen for many years. But the strange thing is, he had no intention of coming forward to see his son being raped, security guard bullied, but he left without looking back, just because his son is a total drug addict. He doesn't want to have anything to do with such a son, but he hasn't gone far. He wanted to pretend not to hear, keep moving forward. Unexpectedly, my son immediately chased me. However, he's such an addict who doesn't even want to see his biological father. But with the help of a cat, he completely turned over. A very inspiring story. James was addicted to drugs when he was young. His family cut off contact with him. With no source of income, he can only make a living by selling goods on the streets. But at the end of the day, he can't even afford a box lunch. James kept praying to his boss for a discount. As thanks, he can sing a song for free. Don't wait for boss's consent. James then started singing to himself, but the boss looked disgusted.
Thanks, mate. That's great.
Don't come back. Okay. Don't want you here. Go on.
All right. Okay, I'm going. Thanks a lot.
To fill the stomach, James can only find some leftovers in the garbage dump. He seems to have long been accustomed to this kind of helpless life of living in the open air. This day, James is wandering the streets aimlessly. Happened to meet a friend, invite him to sit in the car. I don't know which unlucky guy it is. Forgot to lock the car. This car became their destination tonight. Friend, at this time, I took out a bag of flour. James thought for a while. In the end, I couldn't resist the temptation. Early the next morning, the car owner is back. My friend saw something bad. Good luck with Lima. James was sent to the hospital due to an overdose of dilution. When he woke up, he felt extremely regretful because he already has a plan to quit reading. Doctor was very disappointed with his crack. He warned James, if there is a next time, then your life may really be lost. But fortunately, the doctor didn't give up completely. Not only did he prescribe some auxiliary treatment drugs for him, he also applied for a relief room for him. This is also his last chance. James is very excited. He didn't know how to thank the doctor. The doctor said he didn't need to do anything, as long as he cooperates with treatment. Take your medicines on time, and it's enough to promise never to smoke again.
Cross my heart, hope to die.
Okay.
I'll see you out.
This night,
这晚詹姆
James
斯舒
took
服
a
地跑。
nice hot bath. He felt a long-lost tranquility in his heart. But just then, there was a sudden noise outside. James was suddenly extremely nervous.
Whoever's there, you better leave. I've got a weapon here.
He used his shoes as weapons. Quietly, I came out to check, but found out that the biggest culprit was just a little orange cat. Little orange cat was discovered. She won't steal his cereal with determination and calmness at all. James didn't chase it away right away. Instead, I poured him some milk after eating and drinking, but the little orange cat refused to leave no matter what. James can only keep it temporarily for one night. Early the next morning, James took Xiaoju around to help it find its owner, but after searching for a long time, no one came to claim it. At this time, only then did James realize that Xiaoju was a stray cat. No way, he could only release Xiaoju to nature. It's not that he doesn't want to adopt it, it's just that I'm a person who has eaten the last meal but not the next one. How could he let the cat suffer along with him? But he didn't know. Their fate connected from the moment we met. After noon, James sells tea on the street as usual, but he accidentally saw his father whom he had not seen for many years. Although his father didn't want to pay attention to him, but he still chased after him shamelessly. Because Christmas is coming, James hopes to go home and eat with his family on that day. A meal, but I haven't waited for my father to speak. The strong stepmother came over, firmly rejected him. The reason is that the seats at home are already full. Of course, James understands. This is just an excuse for stepmother to stay away from him, maybe out of guilt. Before his father left, he gave him $20, although not much, but enough for his living expenses for a week. Night, when James comes home, but I saw the little chrysanthemum came back at some point, and there are several new blood stains on the body. James quickly took him to the pet hospital. Fortunately, the treatment was timely. There's nothing serious about the little orange cat, but the medical expenses totaled $22. No way, he could only contribute all the living expenses his father gave him. After, James also decided to adopt this little orange cat and named him Bob. James still doesn't know it this time. It is precisely because of his kind deed. The gears of fate begin to turn. Soon, his life will be turned upside down because of Bob's appearance. Variety. The next day, James takes the bus as usual, prepared to go to the city center to sell and earn a living. Unexpectedly, Bob followed secretly. The passengers in the car were immediately attracted by this little cutie. Bob searches for the smell. Finding James was easy. Song was surprised by this, but fortunately the flight attendant didn't mind. I was kind enough to give him a shoelace as a traction rope. But even so, Bob is still a little worried. Just got off the car. It took James running around in the bustling streets. To make Bob more honest, James could only carry her on his back. Unexpectedly, this strange painting style immediately attracted everyone's attention. Look, there were also many people who took the initiative to say hello and take photos with him. Even when James started performing, the onlookers also read down scenes of times more than usual. James never thought that one day he would be noticed by so many people, although everyone comes here for Bob. But there were still many people who gave him a lot of buildings. Just one morning, the money he makes is as much as half a month's worth. James didn't expect Bob Mirror to be a lucky cat. To thank Bob for his efforts, James is not stingy, bought him many cans. We also prepared a professional traction rope for him. Bob seems to have a magical power. No matter where you go, you will become the center of attention. With Bob's unparalleled charm, James makes a lot of money every day. But as their fame grows, it also attracted the jealousy of many people. This day, James was performing on the street with Bob. A man with a dog on a leash deliberately let his dog urinate on James' back.
It's more like piss on to me. Get that dog away from here. I'm trying to play here.
At this time, the onlookers can't stand it anymore. They all stood up to fight for James. Unexpectedly, it caused even greater commotion. It even alerted the police in the end, although James was protecting Bob throughout the whole process and did not take action. But after all, it was caused by him, so the police still sentenced him to be banned from the streets for 6 months. Performance. And this also means that James has completely lost his finances. If it was just him, even if you dig through the trash can every day, he can live too. But now I have Bao Bao. He would never let him suffer this kind of crime with him. Then, James found another job as a salesman in a magazine. This kind of job requires very good eloquence. James is obviously a little dissatisfied with this. But fortunately, Bob once again used the characteristics of his lucky cat. Pedestrians passing by were attracted by his cute appearance. I want to take a picture with Bob. If you thank them, they will also generously buy a magazine. That's all. James' business quickly boomed. Someone took their video, post to the internet. Video post immediately received millions of likes from viewers. The combination of one yuan and one cat completely became popular on the internet. However, Mao Home has many right and wrongs. Many people came to James in the name of charity, want to spend a lot of money to buy Bob, because they think a homeless man like James is not qualified at all. Raise small animals. In the end, it will only turn Bob into a stray cat like him. But in James' eyes, Bob is no longer an ordinary pet, but his indispensable family. He is indeed a tramp, but not his cat.
How much for your kid? I'll trade you.
Seeing how ignorant James is, the woman suddenly became furious. In addition, the dog beside him kept roaring. Seeing it immediately became a mess. Bob jumped off James in fear, disappeared in the crowd in the blink of an eye, although James immediately chased after him. But everything is too late. He searched all day, searched almost every corner of the city, but still no trace of Bob was found. Because Bob disappeared, James's mood is also slowly collapsing. His heart became extremely empty. For someone recovering from drug addiction, undoubtedly a disaster. The doctor advised him to take a little more prescription. Just a cat. But for James, it lost more than just a cat. It was his family who made him work hard to quit drug addiction. He can't even mention his favorite music. Not interested at all. James is like a zombie, lying in front of the window every day, looking forward to Bob coming home soon. But Bob didn't come back, but he saw a hawker selling contraband. Extreme emptiness inside, forcing him to walk over. But at the last moment, James suddenly thought of Bob. Then the words came to my lips, but it became like this.
I'm looking for a ginger cat. Have you seen it anywhere?
Bob once again pulled James back from the brink of hell. It can't even be said that his life was saved by Bob, but now he doesn't even know where Bob is. James is in extreme pain, but at this moment, he found that Bob had come back at some point.
Bob! Bob! Hey! Mister! Where have you been, hey? Where have you been?
But after this incident, James also wanted to understand one thing. If you want to protect your family, you have to completely change yourself. With this determination, James takes the initiative to find a doctor, requests to stop taking suppressive drugs. He must rely on himself to completely defeat his inner desires. Doctor warned him, once you stop taking the medication, that would be an extremely painful process, especially for someone like him who has just started recovering from drugs. If you don't have an extremely strong will, it will be difficult to survive. But James is very confident, because he believes that Bob will give him this power. However, even though I say that, but when James really starts to detoxify, the pain was far worse than he imagined. At the beginning, he felt muscle cramps all over his body. My limbs couldn't help but twitch. Then the pupils dilated, high blood pressure, accompanied by severe pain in the abdomen. James also began to vomit uncontrollably. But these are not the most painful. The most unbearable thing for him is that kind of body seems to be gnawed by countless ants. The bones and one Jinchi pricked it extremely painfully. This feeling made him more tormented every minute and every second. Fortunately, Bob never gives up. Stay with him whenever he feels like he can hold on. When you want to give up, Bob would bring him back from the brink of hell with a meow. With Bob's help, James finally kicks drug addiction completely. Welcome the voice. Even the doctor found it incredible. but only James knows. He alone can't do it alone. Bob gave it to him. After Second Life, he took the initiative to find his father again. I learned that my son had regained his life. My father was very pleased. At this time, father reaches into his pocket. James quickly explained that he was not here to ask for money. However, his father took out a picture of his childhood from his wallet. Photo. Father sincerely apologizes to him. Since my second marriage, for so many years, he failed to fulfill the responsibilities of a father, but in his heart he no longer cares about it all the time. James, certainly, need to worry about now. There's one more.
And my grandson.
From this moment on, completely disappeared. Shortly after, James wrote a book about himself and Bob. This book has been released. It attracted the attention of countless people. The day the new book is released, there are also many book fans who come here to visit, just to see Bob's true face. The movie ends here. It is worth mentioning that this movie is adapted from real events. The prototype of James is the book fan, who guest starred at the end of the movie. Man, Bob in the movie is even more Bob. Starring this cat, it is said that the director team found 6 cats to star in. Bob, in the end, I never read the book about Bob, the real stray cat. After its release, it quickly became popular around the world. Artist Email gained global popularity. Countless fans. James and Bob no longer have to go busking. I no longer have to live in a small soup kitchen. They have their own new business and a spacious house. The only inconvenience is, no matter where they go, Bob still likes to lie on James' shoulders. It is said that Bob also likes Captain Kazuta very much, because he and James were performing on the street together. As long as he and the human machine master, the other party will reward them generously with several coins. He doesn't know what the coins are for. He only knew that it would make his master happier.